Hello and welcome back to the channel. As many of you know, I have been putting together some gear, some armor and other stuff. And one of the things that I've been looking at getting together is a battle belt to go with my armor. And as you may recall, because of the way my magazines and my side plates sit on my armor, I was looking for sort of a drop leg solution for my handgun. So that I'd have room to draw it and not actually hit the magazines. And I ordered this stuff for this battle belt. It's been over a month now, but two of the items were coming from sort of small custom shops, so I had to wait on those. So in this video we're going to take a look at that battle belt. I've got three primary components that are new: the belt itself, a drop leg attachment, and then the holster. So let's just jump right in and take a look at what I've got. Okay, so the three main components that we're going to be looking at today, I've got a belt, a drop leg attachment, and a new holster. So let's go ahead and, well, we'll start with the holster, I guess. Let's get these two out of the way. So now the holster is going to be for my CZ SP01 Tactical, right? And you've probably seen this in my other videos. This is my concealed carry inside the waistband holster I have, and it's from Red Hill Tactical. And my new holster is likewise from Red Hill Tactical. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this out and get it cleared. Okay, so we're clear, and let's get this bad boy out and take a look at it. All right, so this is their level 2 holster, and obviously this is not inside the waistband. This is for an open carry solution, battle belt or competition. Again, I'm not a very exciting person. I went ahead and got olive drab again. Now, these holsters, they're competition holsters primarily. And you may recall with my concealed carry holster that it was a single layer of Kydex, and I mentioned that their other holsters are actually a double layer. So this is a chance for me to demonstrate that this holster is indeed a double layer of Kydex. You can see how thick that is. Now, I chose olive drab for the inside and the outside, but there's a ton of options on their website, and you can do different inside and outside colors, right? Some people have the color combinations coordinated to their competition shirt or whatever. You know, you can get camouflage. There's just a ton of options on their website. But again, I'm boring. I just went ahead and got it olive drab, okay? The edges are kind of polished for the most part, except for right up in this area here. They didn't do a very good job of polishing it. I'm not sure why. Not a big deal, but if you were looking for pretty, you would probably be annoyed by that. Me, I don't care. I don't care if it's pretty. It's not intended to be for show. The holster itself is incredibly rigid because of the double layer of Kydex. There's just almost no flex to the holster at all. You could probably run this thing over with a truck and it wouldn't smash it. Pretty tough holster. Just like with most other Kydex holsters, you have the two screws over here for the adjustment of the tension. Now, like I said, this one's level 2, which means you have basically two forms of retention. So the level 1 retention is down here on the body of the flashlight, and then level 2 is this hood up on the top. Now, according to their website, I believe they said that this is a Blade Tech hood. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe that's what they said. I've never used one of these hoods. I've seen them. They're fairly common. There's different versions. I think Safariland has their own version as well. But basically the way this works, this hood is spring-loaded, and you push down and towards your body on this piece, and it Wow, that's stiff. And it opens up. Okay. You can put the handgun in there and then lock it in place with the hood. Okay. Now, one of the options with this holster is also the mounting type, and you could go to their website to see the different versions that they have, and of course you would want to select the version that goes with however you're choosing to mount it. In my case, I actually wanted to use the G-Code Mule, which is one of the other things that I'm going to introduce. So I had them put this RTI mount on here. This is an RTI 35, I believe is what it's called, and this actually locks into the G-Code Mule, their little disc. Yeah, so again, this holster was intended to have the weapons mounted light mounted on the gun, and I just happen to have that right here. So I did a review of this Olight PL2 in a previous video, and I bought the holster just specifically to go with this light. So let's go ahead and mount that on the gun. Okay, so I guess we can see how the pistol fits in there. It's a good fit. A little bit of a wiggle to it. I could probably tighten the tension down on these screws. Yeah, it's not super tight. So I could probably do some tensioning on it, but I'll play with that some other time. It's definitely not a bad fit though. Pretty secure in there. And then of course, in addition to the tensioning that's provided on the barrel of the flashlight, we've got the level 2 retention. So now, you know, because this is exposed on your leg, crawling through the woods or whatever it is that you're doing, kicking doors in, you don't want your handgun coming out of your holster, and with that hood up, it's not going anywhere. I mean, it can move up and down in the holster, but it can't come out. Okay. The one thing I don't like, or that I'm not liking so far, is just how hard I have to push on that to get the hood to drop. I mean, it's a really tough push there. So what I may do, there's this upper screw. I think what I can do is loosen that up and put some blue Loctite on it, and that should make this a little bit looser and easier to press. Because right now I suspect if I was in a hurry to draw, I just have to press way too hard on that. So in fact, let's try that out right now. I do have a screwdriver here somewhere. Let's loosen this guy up a little bit and see if it helps. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that does loosen it up quite a bit. So I'll have to mess around with that and get it to where I like it when it's on me. But that actually feels pretty good there, so I can probably just throw some medium Loctite on there and it should stay in place. Yeah, pretty nice. Like I said, it fits the gun good. It's a little bit of a different feel than this holster because, so the holster without a weapons mounted light, it actually provides the retention right here on the forward edge of the trigger guard. So it has that kind of snap quality to it, like the gun actually snaps into place. But this one's more friction along here. Obviously, you couldn't have it snap on back here because it'd be turning the light on and off. So you got friction right in here. So it's just a little bit of a different feel. Not a big deal. Certainly easy to draw out of there. Yeah. So I'm liking it. Pretty good. Like I said, I might increase the tension a little bit, but other than that, I'm happy. Okay, so that's the holster. And like I mentioned, the mounting device is going to be the G-Code Mule. So that's this guy right here. Now, G-Code has like 4 different mounts. Oh look, it came with some Loctite. Huh, cool. G-Code has basically 4 different mounts based on the height of the handgun on your belt. So you can get a belt slide that's got this circle that just slides directly onto your belt. You know, and when you did that, you would end up with the gun with the butt riding above your belt, right? They also have, I think it's called the optimal drop or something like that, where this is just below the belt, so it kind of puts the butt in line with your belt. The next step down is this one, the mule. And you can see this drops it even further below the belt. And then they have another one, and I can't recall what it's called, but it drops it even further down. It's way down your leg, probably mid-thigh, if I had to guess. I wanted it fairly low to make sure that I could clear my armor, but I didn't want it like down at my knee or anything like that, right? So I sort of got this medium drop mule, that they call it. Pretty nice piece. So the way this works, the metal piece on the back of here slides into these three little key slots right here, and once you get it in there, you push this guy over, and you can see there's a little lever that slides back and forth and locks it in place and keeps it from coming back up and out of the mount, right? The way this one mounts to the belt is just a simple Velcro loop. So we've got that piece that secures it in place, and then there's more Velcro on the inside right there, okay? And so your belt just sort of sits in here, and then this locks down over it, and this is just further security to keep it from coming off your belt. They do have some options on this. You can get another one of these guys up here and have one of the circles on your belt so that you could take this off of your belt as well. They have another one that's also, it just slides on your belt. It's a plastic piece with a slot on either side. I just went with that. It seemed simple and easy to use. At the bottom you have a leg strap, really heavy elastic strap to go around your leg. Just looking at it, I can see when I have to do some adjusting. My leg's just a little bit bigger than that. That might fit around my calf maybe. So I'm gonna have to loosen that up for sure. Well, no big deal. You can see there's a lot of adjustment available in there. The tail goes clear up under here. Yeah, looks like it's a pretty solid piece. Let's see if this goes on there the way it should. So I've slid it down into the keyed slots and push that guy over, and well, yeah, it's not coming off of there, right? And then if you wanted to take the holster off, you just push in like that, and it comes right off. So pretty cool. This piece actually came really fast. They must have had this in stock. I got it within a week of ordering it. Now the holster, like I said, this is a custom item from Red Hill Tactical. This took 30 days before they shipped it out to me. Shipping wise, it got here really fast, but actually getting it made took 30 days. Okay, so that's 2 out of the 3 pieces. Now let's take a look at the battle belt itself. So this came from Blue Alpha Belts. Again, this was similar to the holster. It's sort of a custom item. It took 30 days to make it, and then they shipped it. And shipping, again, it didn't take very long for it to get to me. Now, what I chose was their 1 3/4 belt with the MOLLE webbing on it, right? So it's got these little half MOLLE webs on it, right? And this is a 2-piece design. So there's an inner belt that goes through your belt loops, and then there's an outer belt that attaches to the Velcro on the inner belt. Now this inner belt, there's 2 different versions you can get. There's a standard version that just overlaps Velcro for it to fasten. And then there's this version, which is actually their concealed carry belt that they sell. I think it's called the low profile concealed carry belt, and it actually has a little plastic buckle on it to allow you to cinch it down, right? So you'd take the tail through there and you'd be able to cinch it down and then fasten it. And then the tail has Velcro on it as well, so you have continuous Velcro all the way around, right? And then that is what the outer belt fastens to, is that inner Velcro. Okay. You'll notice the outer belt's 1.75 inches, but the inner belt's actually only an inch and a half. However, because this is intended to also be its own belt for concealed carry purposes, you'll notice it's a double thickness. So it's really stiff and really thick. And I like that. You know, that's what I wanted. So typically when I concealed carry, I use a leather belt. And I like the thickness because I'm always worried that the clip of my holster is going to ride up over a thin belt and come up out of my pants. Whereas this is super thick, and so the chances of it riding up over the holster are much less likely, right? I have another synthetic belt from 511. I think this is 511. Yeah. And it's only a single thickness. And I don't care for that, right? First of all, it's not nearly as stiff as this belt. And second of all, like I said, when you slide this on here, it just seems like it'd be really easy for that holster to slide right off of the belt and come out of your pants. And I don't care for that, right? So I typically, even though I bought this with the intent of using it for concealed carry, I just haven't done that because I don't trust it. So I ended up usually using my leather belt. But this one shouldn't have that issue, right? Because it's very, very thick. And like I said, that double thickness increases the rigidity of the belt quite a bit. So it's really nice. The stitching on it looks very straight and well done. Now, this little loop here is plastic, but I mean, it's not like I'm going to be using this to repel or anything, so it should be fine. And I'll put that on and use my inside of the waistband holster and get an idea of how that actually functions. Now the outer belt, again, it's 2 more thicknesses of that material. It's like seatbelt material, kind of. The typical webbing material that most pistol belts are made out of. Like I said, I got it with the MOLLE, so I have that option that if I want to use that kind of attachment, I can, or just use regular loops that go around the belt. I can do it either way. I believe you can get this belt without the MOLLE webbing as well. Now I'll say there are options on this color-wise. I chose olive drab to match all of my other accessories, but you can get this in multicam and black, and I think they have coyote as well. There's a lot of options color-wise. It was not cheap, but it's pretty high quality. Just looking at it, the stitching looks pretty good. It's a little messy on the back where the stitching is for the MOLLE looping. It's not quite as pretty as I would have expected it to be, but it's not horrible, and it certainly looks stout. I don't think it's going to come apart. The buckle on it, I think they call these Cobra buckles, right? It's just a typical Cobra buckle. They do have an option that you can get the little the riggers loop if you're doing some kind of vehicle type stuff where you get to strap yourself in or hook yourself in. There's like that extra loop over here. That's a bigger expense, and I didn't need it. I don't need to hook myself into my my Ram pickup, so I was happy with the regular one. And it's that buckle is metal, and it's solid. There's adjustment on it and a little keeper loop here. to roll up the tail. Now, the way they recommend you size these is to put your pants on, run a tailor's tape measure through your belt loops, and measure your waist where your pants normally sit on you, and that's how you come up with the size. And I ended up with 38. And then they say, I think it gives you a couple of inches of leeway on either side for you to adjust with. Okay. So this guy is made in the USA. In fact, I think it's made, I believe it's either North Carolina or South Carolina. I'm not sure. But yeah, made in the USA. The holster is as well, Red Hill Tactical. I believe they're in Maryland or Massachusetts, can't remember which. And then the G code, I don't know where it's made. No, it says made in the USA. This is made in the US as well. Yep. So that's it. That's the 3 main items that I've purchased. I've got the Mule from G Code, I've got the Blue Alpha belt, and I've got the Red Hill Tactical holster. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this all together and putting it on me, and we'll take a look and see how it works. So be right back. Okay, let's start out with this inner low profile concealed carry belt. So let's get this threaded through my belt loops. So like I said, it is really stiff. So it's not the easiest belt to thread through your belt loops. But I will say that that is a happy compromise because, quite frankly, I just don't like the limp noodle flippy floppy belts for concealed carry. I want something nice and heavy and rigid to keep my holster in position. So there it is, it's on there. Let's go ahead and slip the holster in. Alright, and I guess we can put the pistola on there. Get rid of the mount, the light. Slide it in place. And now we should be able to cinch it down really good with that plastic loop there. Oh, probably want to button my pants back up again. Alright. Oh yeah, so that loop makes it real nice. You can cinch it down good and tight. And probably keep the tail on this side. So let's adjust it over a little bit. A little further. Yeah, right around in there. And so that's good and tight. And I mean, if you want to line up your gig line, you can. I'm not too concerned about that because concealed carry, I'll have an outer garment hiding the belt. You won't see it. But yeah, I mean, it's good and snug. Feels like it's going to hold my pants up real well. My shirt coming untucked back here. And then, like I said, with the thickness of the belt, it's not likely that holster is going to come up out of my pants. So I like it. I really like having that option. So it's really 2 belts in one. I can use this for concealed carry purposes as well as with my battle belt. Yeah, perfect. Let's get rid of that guy. And snug it back down a little bit tight since we don't have a holster and pistol in there anymore. And then, like I said, the tail has Velcro on it as well, so I have Velcro going all the way around for the outer belt to connect to. So let's see how that fits. So I'm not really sure how they expect you to do this. I guess what I'll do is I'll start on one side and get the buckle lined up in the middle and just kind of fasten it around as I go. And snap it in the middle. It's a little loose. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'll have to roll this little tail up, but yeah, so now the outer belt is fastened to the inner belt and it's not able to move around at all because the inner belt is going through the belt loops, right? So it's not going to sag down once I start loading it up with some weight, the holster and everything, okay? Now, I guess, like you see cops typically, they have this outer belt set up ahead of time. They have everything mounted on it, and then they just strap it all on at once. But I'll go ahead and just put it together while it's on me. So if I get it undone, I should be able to just loosen up the one side. And I can go ahead and mount this guy on there. The G-Code Mule. So like I said, the belt goes in here. So probably want it somewhere around in here. Slide it up through there. And fold it over the top. Okay. So now that's on there. And while I'm at it, I think I'm going to go ahead and put, so these are the magazine holders, magazine pouches that I got from Red Hill Tactical a while back as well. I've been using these with concealed carry. These have the dots hinged mechanism, so I can undo this side. Oh, one thing I didn't point out when I reviewed these, there's actually a little bar here that you can remove. And it can be put in any of these loops depending on the size belt you have. So I've got it in the bottom spot for this 1 3/4 belt. And that's just going to snap on there, slide it back into position. Same thing with this one. Now, you know, I can mess around with the location of them at some other time, but just put them in place so you get the general idea. Alright, so there's my mag pouches. They sit kind of high. I may adjust these because of the dots, the extra holes that they have in them. I should be able to remove these and drop them down a little bit because they're great for concealed carry where they're at, but they're kind of high for battle belt purposes, so I'll do some adjusting on that. Alright, and then this guy, of course, is in place, and like I said, this is yeah, way too tight for my leg, so I'll go ahead and I'll loosen that up and be right back with you. Alright, so there we go. I have that strap loosened up considerably, so it's a nice, it's just a snug fit. It's not cutting off my circulation or anything. It's got just a plastic buckle to secure it. You can get another Cobra buckle down here as an option, but it's more expensive and I didn't think it was really necessary for the leg strap. But you can do that, and like I said, it's elasticy, so movement of your leg is no big deal with it on there. And again, it doesn't feel like it's cutting off my circulation or anything. All right, really accentuates the butt cheek. Sweet. I also took the opportunity to lower those mag pouches now, so it kind of puts them at a more convenient height for a battle belt rather than concealed carry. All right, so let's throw the holster on there and see how it fits. Okay, so we got a holster. All we need is a pistol in the holster. Okay. And there it is. Now I'll say I'm not used to wearing this kind of gear, and boy, that thing really sticks out a considerable distance from the body. And I guess that's kind of a necessity when you're wearing body armor to get this out a little ways. So just gonna have to watch when I walk through doorways that I don't get this hooked on the doorway. It puts the pistol in a pretty good position. I can get my hand on it pretty easily. But it's not, you know, way down on my leg in a ridiculous location. So let's try the release. Yeah, the release works good. The hood. And now that I loosen that screw up, it's perfect. I like that adjustment, so I'll just Loctite it in place where it's at. So there it is. My new battle belt. I kind of like it. I might, just looking at it, the butt sticks pretty far back. I may move this a little bit further forward at some point, just so the butt's not reaching out and grabbing things. Now I will say, if you're used to, like me, putting stuff in this front pocket, you're obviously not going to be able to get to it once you put this holster on. So my pocket knife and my my OC spray is going to have to go out of that pocket and go somewhere else, along with my car keys that are down in there right now, because there's just no way to get in there and get them out, right? Yeah, but I like it. It's comfortable, really easy to draw from. Now I think you may remember from my previous video when I was mounting my IFAK on my armor, I couldn't find a good place for it. And I've noticed that a lot of people seem to be mounting their IFAK in the center of their belt, in the back on their battle belt. So I may give that a shot. Most of them have the smaller IFAK. Mine's kind of a big one, so it may work and it may not, but we'll give it a try. So I'll go ahead and put that on there, and then I'll also put my body armor on. So I can make sure that I can still draw my pistol without hitting my my magazines and my side plate. So I'll be right back once I've got all that on. Alright, so I got my armor on. And you may recall from my video on the armor and the magazine pouches, when I was mounting these, I was trying to keep the front of my armor open to make it easier to get into the prone position. So that pushed the magazine pouches back, and I lowered them down so that they weren't hitting me in the upper arm. And so the idea of having the lower mount for my handgun was to make it to where I could draw my gun without hitting the magazines. So let's see if that actually functions. And it does. I'm not hitting them at all. I can get it all the way out of the holster. No issue. Now, as to putting it in and out of the holster, that's going to take some practice because I can't see the holster, barely, and I'm not used to where it's at, so trying to get it in and out is a little bit of a chore. I can draw it with no problem, but trying to line it back up to get it in is something that I'm going to have to work on. So that works. However, Houston, we have a problem. Even though I lowered those handgun magazine pouches down, my magazine pouches are sitting right on top of them, like they're actually pushing down on them when I go like this. So the only way I would be able to get them out would be to lean, and that's not good. And then I just don't like having the armor resting on my handgun magazines. So that's going to be an issue. So I'm going to have to work on that and figure it out. And ultimately I'll probably end up having to move this shingle into the middle. As much as I don't want to, I'll probably end up having to do that. Now, as far as the IFAK goes, I went ahead and mounted that basically over my butt in the center of the belt. And that seems to be okay. I can reach it with either hand and get it off if I need it. Yeah, so I mean, it's much more accessible than it was when I had it mounted way back on my armor. So I'll probably keep that. I may lower the panel down. Right now I have the panel kind of centered on the belt, and I may drop it down to where it's even and hits my butt more. Just for comfort, because it's a little up into my back. Now I'm guessing having it back there, because it's such a big IFAC, it'll probably be uncomfortable driving a vehicle with it back there. But other than that, it seems like a really good solution. Like I said, I can get to it with either hand and tear it off if I need to. And other than that, it's not getting in the way of anything else. So that's probably where I'll keep it for now. What I'd like to do is get one of those smaller IFACs that you see most of the guys have on their belts. But for now, that is definitely functional. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this side's probably gonna have to move in because I can't get to my pistol mags. But on this side, the drop leg holster solution did function. I can draw the gun around the magazines with no problem at all. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this belt and the holster. Like I said, I'm going to have to do some adjusting over here. I will say that weaving the Malion for the IFAC was tricky. It was difficult with those little half straps, and it being brand new, they were very tight. So trying to get those woven in there was difficult. But it's definitely not going to come off of there. You probably saw when I was tearing this off, though, there's the issue that not the entire set of loops on the bag are woven with the belt, right? Because there's only 2 half loops on the belt. So when I went to tear it off, the tear off panel was flopping around, and it made it a little bit tricky to tear off. It's a compromise, and for now I think it's a doable solution, but again, in the future I'd like to get something smaller, so that's something that I'll do in the future. Another thing I want to do in the future is, you'll notice I have this ACU top on. This is not ideal with the armor. I would like to try one of the battle shirts that you typically see. I've been looking at Crye Precision, but their stuff's kind of spendy, so still trying to get myself up and pull the trigger on that. But yeah, so future, get some sort of, like I said, the battle shirt that goes underneath armor, a smaller IFAC. I need to get some sort of a knife mounted on here. I want to have a tourniquet mounted on my armor as well. Funny story, so I happen to know somebody in the Army, and he let me take a look at his issue armor, and man, they've got nice stuff. So his plates they're ceramic or polymer or something. They're real super thick, but they're level 4 protection, and man, his armor was half the weight of my armor. Now, I'm not complaining about this RTS armor, because yeah, it's heavy, but it was only $350, $400. That armor he had from the Army is over $2,000. But man, was it nice. It was really interesting to look at it, though, because the way they have their side plate pouches mounted is they mount to the inside of the cummerbund. Now, you may recall when I put this together, these pouches from RTS have MOLLE on both sides of them, which would lead you to believe that they could mount on the outside of the cummerbund, right? But I went ahead and I moved them to the inside like his plates were, and I actually like it a lot better. So right now my side plates are actually on the inside of my cummerbund. Just a quick little update, right? So you can see the plate is actually on the inside, and I really like that. Now I will say his Army issue plates were curved, which is really nice. So they fit to his body better, but still they're like super thick. They're like 3 times thicker than these plates. So I moved mine to the inside, and I really like it. So just an update. I also, at one point, several people recommended raising them up closer under my armpits. I did do that. I did try that, but they hit my arms, and I didn't like that. So I moved them down. You know, what good is the armor going to be if you don't wear it because it's so damn uncomfortable, right? So I moved them down. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So I've got my armor now, I got my battle belt. Now I just, I really need to get out and train drawing from this holster and get used to the feel of where the holster is at. Because like I said, I struggle to get the gun back into the holster because it's difficult to see past my armor. And I just don't have the muscle memory of where it's at. Yeah, it's really happy with the belt, really happy with the holster. I got to work something out over here. But other than that, good to go. So thanks for dropping in again, and stay tuned for more. Have a great day.